Hi, Mike. I have a customer wondering what is on-demand diagnostics and OnBase and how do I use it? Is this something you can help us with?
Hi, Sarah. Definitely. I'd be happy to help. Let me share my screen. To access the OnBase On-Demand Diagnostic feature, we need to open up the Unity client. Once we have the Unity client open, we can open up either a work view or workflow process. In my example, I'm going to open up an AP invoice approval processing lifecycle. We're going to work inside the invoice exceptions queue. There are a number of invoices that have come in that need to be processed either with purchase agent review, to be corrected, approved for payment, or update period and year. Today our focus will be on approved for payment and update period and year. So to access the OnBase On-Demand Diagnostics, go to File, Troubleshooting, On-Demand Diagnostics. The On-Demand Diagnostics pane will open. And to the left at the top, you can see that you can either refresh this, you can clear this information, you can export this information. Once it's populated, you can print it. You can also grant access to On-Demand Diagnostics to other users. For our example, we're going to be using workflow. So when we pull down our workflow, we can see that there are different levels that we can select. We can select to only give us the errors, to only give us warnings, give us information as in the workflow process that we're going to be reviewing, trace, which will give us diagnostics into the workflow process, and debug, which will also give us any kind of errors. So we will select debug. We can actually see over on our left-hand side that we've connected to our server, so we can minimize our on-demand diagnostic pane. We can process the document by opening it, clicking on our Approve for Payment. It will walk us through the workflow steps. You can actually see that here it's adding a note. Just click OK. And we can see that the document was processed successfully. If we review our on-demand diagnostics, you can see that it went through the workflow processes without any issues other than a small issue about load balancing. So the document was processed successfully and moved to the payment entry queue. Another example that we have, we're having an issue with this update period and year ad hoc process. So we'll go into our file, troubleshooting, on-demand diagnostics. Again, the on-demand diagnostics pane opens as expected. We have, again, the same information across the top of the toolbar. I'll just go in real quick about work view. So work view, there are different sources and different levels you can select. So if you have an action, you can pull down the level selection to be minimal, detailed, very detailed, or verbose. Most often we're going to select very detailed or verbose. Again, for our demonstration today, we're going to look and review only the workflow actions. So again, we're going to pull down our level to be debug. We'll wait till our system is connected to the server and minimize our on-demand diagnostic console. From here, we select the document that we're going to be processing, office supplies or us, and we're going to try to update the period and the year. So those keywords are in this document type, we just need to update them. So double click on our ad hoc process and we get an exception error immediately. We can ignore this. We can review our on-demand diagnostic. This will walk us through the entire steps that we need to debug and resolve the workflow process errors. So you can walk through, it will actually show you the different rules that are associated with the ad hoc process inside of workflow, and we can identify that we have an issue with action 2683 inside our workview, our workflow process. So we can open up our studio, browse out to the update period and year and find that specific action. You can see there's 2683 that is causing us our issue, so we can update that workflow process. Also, we can export this to Excel, print it, or have a print preview. The print preview just shows the basic information that you have in the diagnostic window. We also can grant user access to On-Demand Diagnostic for other users that are on the system. So to do this, you just go in and say Enable On-Demand Diagnostic for User option, and then pull down the Select User, and we see that we have Aaron White as a user. You can select OK, and now the On-Demand Diagnostics is then enabled for that user, Aaron White. So to recap, very simply, to be able to use the On-Demand Diagnostic feature, File, Troubleshooting, On-Demand Diagnostic, On-Demand Diagnostic pane opens, and you can process through your workflow processes or work queue processes and find all the information associated with it.
Hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our free training resources. And make sure that you reach out if you have any questions that you'd like featured in an upcoming episode of the Question Corner.